Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Adanna, and on this channel we talk about all things stories and self-care. So books that we love, books that we want to read, authors that we love, and self-care. If you're interested in that sort of content, definitely subscribe down below. Also hit the notification bell so that you're notified of every single time that I upload. So today, while my background is a little bit different, I am vacationing, I did want to record a video on all of the books that I read in the month of May. I have read over 5 books, and each of them have had a special place in my heart. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 5 books that I read this month. So the first book that I read this month is Truly Devious by Maureen Brown. It is the first in the Truly Devious series, and I really actually enjoyed this book. Stevie Bell is the main character, and she is the antithesis to everything I believe in. Well, somewhat. She definitely loves crime and being in the middle of a mystery, whereas I don't. I'm like, oh, not trying to be in the mix of it. Nope. But she loves crime, and she actually goes to this school where there is a crime that had been committed like so many years ago, and there's a new crime that actually happens when she gets there, and she's trying to solve both crimes. I think that this book was really cute. I enjoyed reading it, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't think that it is a bad read. I also don't think that it's like a super stimulating read. And so I think it was just 3 out of 5 stars. Now, that being said, I am actually intrigued with how the story ended. I liked how the author was able to set us up for the next book in the series. And I'm really excited to actually read it. And I'm excited to see what happens next. The second book that I read is Jade City by Fonda Lee. And it is the first book in the Greenbone Saga series. I really wanted to like this book, and it was just okay. It is talking about the Call family, who is one of this group of people called the Greenbones that can actually handle jade. Jade is a mystical substance that is in the earth that is found in the fictional country of Kikon, and only Greenbones, or people that have been trained in order to be able to handle the substance, can handle it. And there is a feud between the Call family, who is the head of the No Peak clan. There's a feud with that family versus the other family, the Mountain View, I think it's called Mountain Peak, something like that, clan. And they just have a clash. And so it's the premise of the book I really enjoy. It seemed like there should have been probably like a prequel, and then you start with this book, and then you continue with this series. I think that the author was trying to give a lot of backstory, and I don't think I necessarily needed all of the backstory. It just felt like it was like 3 books in one somehow. Like, it was just okay. I rated it 2 out of 5 stars because it wasn't terrible. I did finish it, but it wasn't like my favorite read, even though I had such high hopes and it started off so great. But yeah, I didn't finish it, and I'm not really sure that I'm going to finish the series just because of the way the book ended up turning out for me. The third book that I actually read is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Reed Jenkins, and I really enjoyed this book. If you haven't already watched my top 5 books to read in your 20s, this book was included in that list, and go ahead and watch it if you haven't. Like, there were so many moments in this book that I was like, this is such a pivotal book, and I really enjoyed watching or reading it, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't get a chance to read it while I was in my 20s, because I love the idea of how we have someone that's towards the end of their life, kind of recounting their life and talking about some of the things that they wish that they had done, one way or done differently, or some of the regrets that they may or may not have had in their life. And it was really beautiful to kind of see how Evelyn, who's the main character, is seemingly picking a unknown journalist to tell her story. And I love how, as a reader, I'm learning about Evelyn's story as she's telling it to Monique Grant, who is the journalist that she decides to tell her story to. And I think the way it was written was just beautiful. There were a lot of themes about just living your truth, living with intention, also family, the importance of family and the family that you create. So it was a really interesting book. I think I read it in like a week, not even, and it's definitely a book that I'm going to definitely keep on my shelf and also probably reread again at some point. So really great read. So the fourth book that I read is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron, or it might be Byron. I'm not exactly sure, but I loved this book. This is not a huge book, but it was a really good, surprisingly good read for me. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I think I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And it's a book about kind of challenging that fairy tale story that we've all been told, how, you know, Cinderella basically meets Prince Charming and then she lives her life in happiness and bliss for the rest of her days. And this is a good book that challenged that norm, encourages us to challenge the norms that we are often told or are often told to us as truth. Sophia, who's the main character, is someone that doesn't want to participate in activities of society. Sophie is a lesbian, and during this time, every eligible woman in the land is told to come to an annual ball where they are chosen by any of the men in society as wives. And Sophie doesn't want to do this. She actually wants to be with her best friend Erin. Somehow along the way, she ends up getting connected with one of the long lost descendants of Cinderella, and together they help to dismantle this kingdom. They fight the king, and they're able to eventually get to a point where they're not necessarily beholden to the same standards or the same requirements that they had been required of before. And I love this idea of, again, challenging norms that we are told as women, as people of color, as whatever, to be able to say, like, this may have been how things were before, but they don't have to be this way. And just encouraging everyone to take another look at what we consider to be true or what is the norm and challenging that. I think it was a really good book. I read it, I think in like 3 days or something. So I really liked it, and again, rated it 4 stars. All right, and so the last book that I read, still in the midst of reading it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish it before the month is over. Today's the 23rd as I'm recording it, so I'm probably going to finish it. I'm a little more than halfway through with this book. I'm really excited to finish it. So the book that I am referring to is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Let me tell you, this is one of the most beautiful, thought-provoking books that I have read in a really long time. It is essentially about I think it's a fantasy book. And so it is talking about how there are magical youth that are in the world, and they are all, most of them are living in orphanages. And so the main character, Linus, I believe his name is a caseworker. And what he does is goes to different orphanages and just ensures that the children are being cared for, that they're not being abused and any sort of thing like that. So he's been doing that for almost 17 years. And he's really good at his job. He then gets this new case where he has to travel really far to an island, and these children that are in this orphanage they're considered like class level 4 in terms of, you know, need to know security, and they are not well documented. So he has to go in and kind of learn about who they are, learn about the orphanage master, ensure that basically nothing is happening. And so he comes in thinking that things are going to go one way, and slowly over time, again, I'm still in the middle of reading it, slowly over time, his mind and his heart is actually changed. And he comes to realize that, yes, these may be children that are not normal, I guess. They have unique abilities, but they should be treated as children. They shouldn't be prejudiced against. He comes to realize that, you know, bureaucracy and the ways of doing things and the rules and regulations maybe shouldn't be held to so, you know, fastly, or should maybe be re-examined and updated. I just think that is so good. I'm not even finished with this, and I'm already highly recommending you read this. This is such a cute book, and I'm actually probably going to be sad when it's over, but I'm excited to keep reading the story. All right, and so that is it. Those are all the books that I have read this month or am currently in the process of finishing reading. I did a better job, I think, this month than I have so far. I think 5 is the most that I have read in a month since I've started my YouTube channel, so I'm really excited about that. I think that we're making a lot of progress in terms of just being able to read books and be able to kind of retain what I'm reading so that I can make recommendations to you. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't and hit the notification bell. And also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where I have a little bit more behind the scenes content for this channel. Let me know, what have you been reading in May? What are some of the top books that you've read and what did you enjoy about them? I'd love to get some more recommendations and also just kind of understand what you guys are reading. All right, so I'll see you guys soon. Bye.